now, he made $50 million. Started when he was 14. Farrah Gray, I met Farrah Gray, little black kid from Chicago. At the age of 6, he started his first business. He noticed all these women were having to carry these big bags in the ghetto. They didn't have cars. They had to carry them home. They could only carry one bag of food back to their apartment. He went and said, I've got a wagon. You can buy 2 bags of groceries. I'll put them in a wagon. And they started giving him $1. And then he took enough money, saved it, bought a second wagon. Pretty soon he had 9 kids with wagons. They were all doing this. He's taking 50% of every $1. And then he realized his grandmother had the best jellies, jams and jellies. And so he started going to grocery stores saying, would you carry this if we can make more of it? And by 14, he was making over $1 million a year. At 15, he sold the company for $1.5 million. And he went on to become a real estate mogul. He's now in his 20s. This is the most amazing story. This kid named Ryan has a thing on YouTube called Ryan's Toy Review. He's age 7. He made $22 million last year. 7. So you're never too young. So if you're sitting here thinking, well, I can't do that, give that up. And you're never too old. It's never too late to start. Here's a woman, Helen Klein. I met her when she was 83 years old. We were both getting an award for being outstanding Californians. And hers, mine was for Chicken Soup, hers was for, at 83 years old, she had just broken the record for the 80 to 85-year-old group for running a marathon. Now, she did not run ever until she was 55 years old. At 55, her husband said, I'd like to run a 10K. Would you go train with me? They had a backyard about as big as half this room. She ran around at once, fell on the ground wheezing, thought she was going to die. She was a smoker. So she stopped smoking, and every day she would run another lap. 2 laps, 3 laps, 4 laps, 5 laps, 100 laps. And eventually she went outside and she would go how many telephone poles and then one more before she turned around to come back. She ran that race. She came in last, but she got hooked. Here's the story of Helen Klein. 55 years old started. Completed more than 60 marathons and 140 ultra marathons. Think about that. Ultra marathons are 75 to 100 miles after 55. Then at 59, she was the oldest woman to complete the Ironman triathlon. Wow. 59. Then at 66, she ran 5 100-mile mountain races. In 1995, she ran 145 miles across the Sahara Desert in a 375-mile eco challenge, which meant she ran, she swam, she kayaked, she horseback rode, and she also rappelled down mountains. And then, in one 6-day run, she covered 373 miles in 6 days. Didn't start till she was 50. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'm too old, forget it. People start businesses when they're 55. They retire at 65, and then they start doing what they really love. You start a business and make more money than they made in the first 40 years of working for someone else. And it said she's the world record holder in the 80 to 85-year-old class. I love this cartoon. He says, oh crap, was that today? So make sure you're on board for your desired future. Take action. Don't wait. I will end with one last story. This is it. A little boy named Bobsy. Bobsy, at 6 years old, his name is Bob, parents called him Bobsy, at 6 years old. What happened was he woke up one night, he was in terrible pain, crying. They tried all the things they could do. They gave him children's Tylenol. They couldn't get his fever down. They put him in a bathtub with ice. Finally took him to the hospital. A couple of days of diagnosis, they discovered that he had childhood leukemia. They said your child probably not going to live longer than a month. And they were distraught, as any parent would be. But they asked him, they said, Bobsy, we never asked you, what did you want to do and be when you grew up? And Bobsy said, I always wanted to be a fireman. And so they went to the Phoenix Fire Department, and they said, could you give our son a ride on a fire truck before he dies? And they said, sure, we'll do that. We'll do better than that. If you get his measurements, we'll make a uniform for him. Fire hat, yellow, slicker, the whole deal, boots, and everything. We'll pick him up, and we'll make him the honorary fire chief for a day. And so the parents gave him the measurements. He goes, okay. Comes back 3 days later, they got it all made. They pick him up, in a hook and ladder truck. There's a picture of him right there. And he got to go out on 3 fire calls that day. And they treated him like his little dog. They didn't, they said, Bobsy, this is what we normally do.
You tell them what they normally do. So you're the fire chief, what do you say? He goes, sounds good, do it. And they do it. And they got interviewed by television, and all these people are there going, why is this kid there? Comes back that night, so excited. No one lived 3 months longer than the doctors ever thought was possible. And then, one night, all of his vital signs are going down. The nurses said, we don't think he's going to make it through the night. They called the parents. They said, we think you better come in. And the head nurse said, why don't we call the fire department and see if they'll send a fireman over to remind Bossy that he was really a fireman today. So they called, and they said, we'll do better than that. We'll be there in a couple minutes. They got there in time, and they picked Bobbsey up with the parents from him. They started rocking. And he looked up and he said, does this mean I'm a real fireman? He said, yes. And a few minutes later, he died. I tell you this story for one reason. We would do anything for our children to have their dreams come true. But I want you to realize that inside of you, there's a little child that has dreams that haven't become fulfilled yet. And I want to encourage you to do whatever it takes to fulfill the dreams that you once had as a child, that you don't die with that dream in you. So here's what I want you to do tonight. When you get home, when you're going to bed, you're brushing your teeth, I want you to stop for a moment and look in the mirror. Look into your own eyes and realize there's a little Bobbsey inside of you looking back. And make the commitment to do whatever it takes to apply all the things you learned here today from all the different speakers to make your dream come true. Make the commitment to the inner child in you. And if you do that, I promise you, 1 year from now, your life will be magically different. So I hope this has been valuable. Thank you.